as you know, actors, performers, whatever, we look in the mirror, we know here's your hair, right? You're a persona. You're someone who's like larger than life, and especially during the heyday where you're winning the championships, you're like the biggest wrestler around. And did you look in the mirror and kind of like reenact what you're gonna, sort of like prepare what you're gonna do? Like say, I'm Chris Jericho, and this is like some of the things you're almost like rehearse, like writing lines of what you're gonna say when the microphone's put in your face. Are you like preparing for that? Or are you impromptu or a combination?
Here's the arc for that. And that's actually a great question because so when I started in WWE, the first couple, probably the first 6 months or so, I wrote all my own stuff because that's just how it was. There's a famous promo I did with The Rock. It was my big debut into WWE, and I did this big long, I interrupted The Rock, and it was a big thing in 1999 because he was super hot then too. And there was no rehearsal, there was no lines, there was no script, nothing. So then as the WWE progressed, they started getting into, they got a show on whatever the network was, Fox, whatever show, whatever network Friends was on. So when they got their major network show, SmackDown, we're going to go head to head with Friends. We're going to beat Friends. That's Vince's attitude, right? So to do that, we need writers like they have on Friends. Well, it doesn't work that way in wrestling because Friends, if I'm, David Schwimmer playing Ross, I'm not David Schwimmer, I'm Ross. In wrestling, it's almost like Seinfeld. It's Jerry Seinfeld playing a version of Jerry Seinfeld on the show Seinfeld, but it's not really him. But it is kind of him. It's the same with wrestling.
Right.
Chris Jericho is a character, but it's also mostly me turned up to the 10th degree. So I can't have somebody write something and go, here's what you're going to say, Chris. That'd be like somebody writing my answers for you as we're doing this podcast. Like, right. You have to have a mind of your own. And so it became a real sterile kind of like, here's your script, and everyone would be standing there with their scripts like a table read, except for we don't have 6 days of shooting for this. We've got, we're on in 60 minutes and it's a live thing. And there's, here's my line, here's your line. We're, some of us are not actors. I am, but some aren't. And so it just turns into something completely unorganic. When I left WWE, came to AEW a couple of years ago, which is our show now that we do every week on the TNT network, owned by the family that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're doing great ratings. We just re-signed with TNT for 10 gazillion, squillion dollars, whatever. But one of the reasons why it works is because it was the first time in 18 years that when I had a promo, there was no script. It was just me. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, whatever you want to say. And it's like, okay, well, now you have to go back to the way it used to be and say, okay, Jericho, everyone says you're good on the mic. Are you as good as you think you are? Are you as good as everybody else thinks you are? Because now you got to get out there and just say it off the top of your head. And boom, it was so easy. So our promos now are just off the top of our head, going through what we want to say. Yes, we have bullet points, but a lot of it happens on the fly. It's very similar to, improv, being an improv performer. If you've worked with the Groundlings or something, like when I worked with the Groundlings, you follow each other's lead. You listen to what the crowd is doing. You go here. You know what the point that you're trying to make is, but it's never as regimented as saying, you say this, I say this, learn your lines. And it makes it so much more organic, so much more fun, and everybody gets a chance to really show their characters, which makes everybody more popular.